And welcome back to Greg's Kitchen. I'm Greg and this is my kitchen. Today is a fairly simple recipe. I'm just going to be making some homemade pizza. So let's get into the pizza making. All right, well, first I'm going to preheat my oven to 475. You need it really hot for pizza. All right, that's preheating. This is the pan I'm going to be using. It's a very large pizza pan. It has these holes in it. That way it lets the air in and it lets the heat in from underneath, and the bottom of the crust gets a little crispier that way, and we both like it that way. All right, so the first thing obviously we need to do is the dough. I like the powdered dough mix. I don't like to get the pre-made dough. It's funny, this is the thin and crispy dough mix. I could maybe use one packet and make a really thin pizza across this whole thing, but I like using two of the thin and crispy mixes to get a sort of a more normal kind of dough. But you cook it the same way. You just double up on what you're adding to it. So I'm going to dump both of those packets of dough mix into this bowl here. Try not to make a mess. And we add 1 cup of hot water, and it's important that it is hot water. Just on, let it get hot. And we will mix this in with a fork. Just mix it together until you get a nice dough. Mix with your hand as well once you get to this point. Kind of knead it a little bit, roll it into a ball. Once you get it into a nice ball, it's not sticky. You want to make sure you knead out any sticky parts. It says to brush it. The instructions say to brush it with oil, but I usually just spray it with a little bit of non-stick cooking spray. And we cover. This is a yeast stove, so we need to let it rise. So we're going to cover it, put it in a warm place. I'll put it over here by the oven vent. And we let that sit for 5 minutes. All right, our 5 minutes are up. So let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's risen a little bit. It's a little bigger than it was. So let's take the dough out. If I can get it out. Oh, I need to spray my pan first so it doesn't stick. Now we'll put the dough on and spread it out. If your dough gets a little sticky, you can put a little water on your hand. Not a lot of water, just a little bit. Make it spread out a little bit better. The hot water is supposed to help prevent that and help the dough rise because it helps activate the yeast. You can see why I like using 2 packets of dough, because it spreads out easier and you get a nice thick dough. If you want it thin and crispy, you can just use 1 package. It comes out about the same. And now I like to pinch the ends here so we get a nice edge to the crust. This will shrink a little bit in the oven, so make sure you get it kind of even. You don't want thin spots and thick spots. And I prick this with a fork a few times so that it doesn't blow up like a balloon in the oven. We want pizza, not a balloon. Now we're going to put just the pizza crust in the oven for about, 6 or 7 minutes to get it a little bit of cooking before we actually put the toppings on. While we're waiting on that, I'm going to use this block of mozzarella cheese as opposed to the shredded kind. The reason for that, during one of our visits to New York, we visited I can't remember the name of it, but it was one of the historic pizzerias, one of the first ones that opened in the city. And their New York style pizza is a little bit different than what most people are used to. They put the cheese down first, and it's these big slices of cheese, not the shredded, and then the sauce, and then the other toppings. We tried it that way when we got home, and we liked it a lot too. So that's the way we're doing it. And we use about half of this big block here. So cut it in half. Got my cheese slicer here. Slice it sort of thin, not too thin. I know that's really specific, but you don't have to worry if your slices aren't perfect because it's all going to melt anyway. Okay, it's been about 6 minutes or so, and I'm going to pull the dough out. It started to brown a little bit. As you can see, it has expanded and risen quite a bit. I may have misspoke earlier and said the dough is going to shrink. It's not, it's going to rise and expand. So now our dough is ready for the toppings, and as I said a few minutes ago, and I should have mentioned, I did put that in before the oven had preheated, but that doesn't really matter for this step. As I said a few minutes ago, we're going to put the cheese slices on first. Just kind of scatter these around the pizza, because they're going to melt and go all runny all around anyway. And next goes the sauce. You can make your own sauce. I usually just use the kind in a jar. And it's usually about half the jar I use, maybe a little bit more. You use a little bit more sauce when you make it this way. That's part of the reason I like it, to be honest. Just spread some sauce. Let's try to cover everything except for the ring that we pinched around the outside. And we're just going to stick with a plain pepperoni pizza this time, but you can put whatever toppings you like on here. But everybody likes pepperoni. Just going to put it in a ring around the outside, and then we'll do smaller rings inside the big ring. And once you're satisfied with your toppings, just want to put it back in the oven, which is now preheated, for about, 10 minutes or so. Now we wait.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so it's actually only been about 8 minutes, but as you can see, the crust is getting nice and golden brown and all the cheese is melty and everything, so I think it's just about time to pull it out. This is one of those things that you don't really have to judge by time. You pull it out when it looks good for your taste. If you like a really done pizza, leave it in longer. A really crispy pizza. If you don't like it so crispy, if you like it a little softer, then take it out a little sooner. Ooh, how does that look? That looks like a pizza. It's crispy edges, but it's a little softer in the middle. That's the way I tend to like pizza. Alright, our pizza is all sliced. How about that?
And for those of you wondering, where did Nick go? Yes, I've been holding the camera this whole time. But now, since we get to eat, I come into it, obviously.
Here we are, here's our pizza.
All right, time for the eater's verdict. It's not like I've never eaten this pizza before. I've eaten it thousands of times. Good as always.
Cheese is nice and stringy.
I apologize for the poor photography of this shot because it's hard to eat and video at the same time, you know.
Alright, well, that does it for this edition of Greg's Kitchen. Let me know in the comments what toppings you like on pizza. And I will not judge you if you say you like pineapple on pizza, but some people probably will. But if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notified when we post new videos. We've got a playlist of other Greg's Kitchen videos if you want to see more, and more will be coming in the future, I am sure. So thanks for watching, and we'll see. We love you, and we'll see you next time.